Did you hear that dry cough? That was not a cough. That was a
Google search how long to die in the cold. You discussed that in your direct testimony, correct?
I did.
Do you recall preparing a report for the iPhone belonging to Jen McCabe dated December 2020?
Here we go.
I do, yes.
Yesterday in your direct testimony, you didn't mention anything about the hash value with regard to Jen McCabe's phone, did you?
Not in my testimony, no.
However, isn't it correct that in your report of December 2024, you had an issue with the hash value from the data from that phone?
Wait. December 2024, he had an issue? 5 months after the trial was over, he suddenly had an issue with the hash value? Why? How? Let's keep watching. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law. Folks, today we're going to continue with the cross-examination of Ian Whiffin. Ian Whiffin is a digital forensics examiner, and we are going to listen to all of his lies and machinations and compare them to what happened in trial number 1 to a certain extent. We're not going to do a full-blown comparison like we do in some videos, like we did with firefighter Timothy, and we might also be doing with firefighter McLaughlin. I can't wait to do that one. She is definitely on my radar to do very soon. But folks, we have a lot of catching up to do, so we are going to continue with the releases of every day, a video at 1 p.m., at 4 p.m., and at 7 p.m. So, without further ado, I bring you Ian Whiffin. Let's go!
Mr. Whiffin, I am now going to proceed to a different topic.
Ooh, we got Alessi.
Recall discussing the Google search how long to die in the cold.
I do.
And you discussed that in your direct testimony, correct?
I did.
You were a police officer for years before getting into the data forensic analysis of cell phones, correct?
Correct.
You were a response officer of the South Yorkshire Police from 2004 to 2009.
Correct.
You continued policing with the Calgary Police, working patrol, correct?
Correct.
You work frequently with law enforcement.
I do.
Indeed, law enforcement is the predominance of your work, correct?
Probably about 80% of the work, yes.
What percent?
About 80%.
80?
By the way, for the record, somebody tweeted last night, which this is being recorded on Monday, May 12th, and it will premiere Monday, May 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern. I just wanted to say something about this. Apparently, somebody went to Good Samaritan, and just the topic of Karen Reed came up, and I never really thought about this until today. So the nurses have said one of the reasons that why the hospital personnel of Good Samaritan never really gave any statements is because of their fear of the Albert family. Now, there were no specifics given why they were afraid of the Albert family. And again, I have my theory. How much credence does it have? Time will tell. If you don't know my theory, I tweeted about it, I've talked about it now in the past few videos. It's just an ever-evolving thing because, you know, I love when people call me like, you know, a grifter or whatever. What about news channels? Are they also grifters? Anybody who voices their opinion online is a grifter? I love it. Absolutely love it. It's jealousy, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, there is not a single witness, for the most part. There were a couple of witnesses in the first trial, but I don't remember a single nurse witness who testified in the first trial. Doctors? Yes, there were a couple of doctors from Good Samaritan. I remember it coming up. And if you look on the witness list chat. Let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious. And as you scroll down to the comments, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. In the comments below, I want you to tell me which doctors are on the witness list this time and which doctors testified in the first trial. Chances are they completely overlap. But you'll notice there's not a single nurse on there. I'm pretty sure that's accurate without even checking. So correct me if I'm wrong. But let's get back to Ian.
0.
Your work is used in investigations for law enforcement, correct?
Sometimes, yes.
In your area of work, you use and apply various forensic methods that are extracted, that data is extracted from a cell phone, correct?
Correct.
And you have various forensic methods to analyze that data, correct?
Correct.
And that data that you analyze is often used by law enforcement in their investigations, right?
It can be, yes.
It can be, but it also is, from your experience, correct?
I'm sorry, are we talking about my actual analysis or analysis that's created by the tools that me and Cellebrite create?
Your analysis.
Okay, my analysis is typically used in investigations, yes.
So it's typically, your analysis is typically used by law enforcement.
On the cases I work, yes.
Right. And you know that is going to be the case oftentimes when you're doing your analysis, correct?
Correct.
And forensic software is used to gain access to people's devices, correct?
Correct.
Such as cell phones, right?
Correct.
So, and there's something called an extraction process from a cell phone that you discussed in your direct testimony.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I want to cover, because it would be covering old ground, but I want to cover some of it.
Okay.
It's important, is it not, that the extraction process on a cell phone be performed correctly.
It is, yes.
And that's so that the data that's extracted from a cell phone is complete, correct?
Correct.
So that the data is correct,
Correct.
and so that the data is reliable.
Correct.
And data forensic examiners and people in your area of work need to ensure that the extraction file has not been tampered with, correct?
Correct.
Oh.
Because if an extraction file has the possibility of tampering, then the information and data from it can be unreliable, correct?
Correct.
And there's a generally accepted methodology for how to perform an extraction of data from a cell phone. correct?
Alessi's good.
Typically, yes.
I don't think I've heard him cross-examine anyone yet.
One of the key ways to determine whether the data extracted from a cell phone is valid and has integrity is to evaluate whether the extraction process created what is called a hash value, correct?
Correct.
And a synonym for a hash value is a hash signature, correct?
Correct.
And a hash value or hash signature, I'm just going to use hash value. Is that acceptable to you?
I'm fine with that.
Thank you. So a hash value is a unique and usually consists of a long string of numbers and letters that's generated from the data file from a cell phone using a computer algorithm, right?
Correct.
And one of the computer algorithms is SHA SHA 256, right?
Correct.
And is it a fair analogy to state that a hash value can be thought of as fingerprint for a data file from a cell phone?
Yes.
And is it also a rough analogy that a hash value can function like the seal on a milk container? In other words, if you open the milk container and the seal's broken, that the same analogy can be provided that if you don't have a valid hash value, then there is a question with regard to the contents of a cell phone, just as there might be concern about contents
It's
of a
been
milk
tampered
carton.
with.
Is that a fair general analogy?
Yeah, if the hash doesn't match, then something has changed in the data.
Yeah.
So if the hash doesn't match or you can't determine a valid hash file, It's sort of like opening up a milk container in that
Analogies.
seal cap is off, correct?
Okay, I'll accept that.
Thank you. Now, if a data file is altered in any way, the hash algorithm is going to produce a different letter in numeric string than the previous hash value for that same alleged data, correct?
Correct.
So that alpha...
Also, I want you guys, for those of you who are like real fanatics of this trial, let's say, and you have time, do me and everyone else on the internet a favor, because after this video premieres, there might be a change in the air, a shift in the air, and pay attention to that shift as well. If the Albert theory is correct, that it was Brian Albert or his contribution that led to the death of John O'Keefe, and we know his hands are dirty, we just don't know to what extent, and that everybody is afraid of Albert. First of all, he may have blood on his hands from previous times. First of all, maybe that's part of the reason why they're afraid of them. So does he have any prior issues with assault, or maybe there are rumors or facts that he may have killed others? You know what I mean? And whether or not that is true, because I just heard it again, Ian Whiffin is kind of like on the sidelines. He's not a direct like agent of the Alberts, but he's definitely afraid of them. I'm curious. Go back. Like I said, starting today, May 12th, things are going to change once the McAlberts watch my video. Hi, Jen. Hi, Brian. Hi, other Brian. Go back and watch the coughing in the courtroom. Anytime a witness says something that may be like borderline, not like Jennifer McCabe or Carrie Roberts. I mean, maybe, but I'm talking about witnesses who have nothing at stake. You know, at the end of the day, they're like Ian Whiffin. He's just a dude. You know, like me, I'm just a dude. He's just a dude. But like when the dudes and dudettes of Canton testify, I want you to go back up until this trial, and maybe even trial number 1, and find all the instances where there's coughing in the audience. And you'll notice the coughing is synchronized. The coughing is synchronized with their answers. Coughing in the courtroom is a signal. It is not accidental. Sometimes, sure, but more often than not, I've noticed a pattern. This is how because the Albert family and parts of the Albert family are always sitting in the audience. They're watching this trial very, very closely. And Mama O'Keefe doesn't care. She's in on it. She's part of it. She just has it out for Karen as an Irish mother, as I've learned. So at the end of the day, it's all about just making sure all of our soldiers, our foot soldiers essentially in a way, are in line. So anytime the Albert family wants to control a witness, there's a cough in the courtroom. It's very, very clear, very timed. And if you don't believe me, this is what really, really triggered that thought once again. Now that more information has come to light about the nurses at Good Samaritan, let's take a listen.
Sort of like opening up a milk container in that seal cap is off, correct?
Okay, I'll accept that.
Thank you.
You hear that dry cough? That was not a cough. That was a I'll play it one more time and then we're going to keep going. So you understand that I'm not crazy. I legitimately believe this.
That seal cap is off, correct?
Okay, I'll accept that.
Thank you.
Now, if a data... And he even kind of like acknowledged, like, I heard you. Very dry cough. That's definitely not somebody actually having something in their throat.
File is altered in any way,
you be the judge.
Hash algorithm is going to produce a different letter in numeric string than the previous hash value for that same alleged data, correct?
Correct.
So that alpha numeric number is important because it can, if it's different, then it means something happened to that data, correct?
Correct.
And isn't it important for examiners, anybody in data forensics, to know whether or not the data they're looking at has a valid hash value?
It would depend, in my opinion, on the origin of the data.
But you would agree that it's much better to have a valid hash value for data than not, correct?
I'd like to see the hash value match, yes.
You would like to see the hash value matching,
yes.
Correct? Now, once data from an iPhone is properly extracted and you get a hash value, then the examiners of the data seek to pass and decode the data to try and make some sense of the data in a more user-friendly format so that a report can be created for investigators, correct?
Correct.
Do you recall preparing a report for the iPhone belonging to Jen McCabe dated December 2024?
Here we go.
I do, yes.
Haslong.
And in that report, you discussed your views of a Google search of House Long to Die in the Cold, correct?
Correct.
And in that report, you rendered various conclusions about that Google search, correct?
Correct.
And you rendered various conclusions about what is called a timestamp.
Correct.
And the timestamp that was in question was 2:27:40 a.m. on January 29th on Jen McCabe's phone, correct?
Correct.
And the question that you were looking at is that timestamp that appeared in the data, that timestamp of 2:27:40 a.m., whether that belongs to the Google search, House Long to Die in the Cold, correct?
Correct.
And you testified yesterday with regard to that very issue, correct?
Correct.
Now, in your report of December 2024, you discussed the hash value of that cell phone, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yesterday, in your direct testimony, you didn't mention anything about the hash value with regard to Jen McCabe's phone, did you?
Not in my testimony, no.
The answer is no, correct? No. However,
Why is that important?
isn't it correct that in your report of December 2024, you had an issue with the hash value from the data from that phone?
Wait. December 2024, he had an issue? 5 months after the trial was over, he suddenly had an issue with the hash value? Why? How? Let's keep watching.
I didn't have an issue with the hash value at all, no.
So
His voice is cracking.
you didn't note that it was not possible with the gray key extraction as the PDF containing the extraction has its value, that it was unsigned? That was not an issue in your report?
The hash value matches, but because I didn't do the extraction, I'm unable to actually validate that was an original hash and hadn't been modified.
Exactly. So you didn't do the extraction, but you couldn't validate the hash value, could you?
No.
So
Milk carton's
you
open.
couldn't determine whether or not any of the data on that cell phone of Jen McCabe had been tampered with, correct?
I take a holistic view of the data and try to find anomalies. And
Oh,
didn't-
he's weaseling his way. For the first time, he's just like, wait. That's not... I know I said that before, but, hear me out. Hear me out, bro. Listen. It's not all cut and dry. Oh my god, this is so good.
See any that raised any flags?
That wasn't my question, sir.
Okay.
I'll try it a different way.
He's getting the right answer. Watch. Watch this. Oh my god, this is about to be amazing. I'm predicting
You
this.
concluded that the hash value was unsigned, correct?
Correct. They were always unsigned. Okay, apologies.
You concluded that the hash value was unsigned, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. And you went on, did you not, in your report to say that this hash value could be used as a suggestion of authentication, but cannot be guaranteed 100%, correct?
Correct.
Did you discuss any of that doubt, that suggestion of authentication but can't be guaranteed 100% at all in your direct testimony yesterday?
I didn't know.
Oh, so you never told us that there are holes in your box. Why didn't you? Because you're being dishonest, you're being deceitful. Now the jury's scratching their heads going, so everything the guy said is BS? To quote my cousin Vinny and Joe Pesci, everything that guy said is bull.
And again, hash values are very important concepts for data forensic examiners, correct?
For integrity, yes.
Do you know the chain of custody of Jen McCabe's iPhone?
I don't know.
Oh.
So you don't know the chain of custody of her iPhone. You have an unsigned hash value, and you can't guarantee
100% accuracy.
the hash value authentication, correct?
No.
The objection's overruled.
Not from the hash value, no.
From other stuff, yes. He's gonna say. Or he wanted to say, I should say. Oh god, this is so good. Alessi is a beast. Just not letting them go. And now letting it marinate. Oh, it's beautiful. He's using all the tactics of a good defense lawyer. Now, see, this whole time that he's he knows where he is. He knows where to go. He's letting the jury process. Because this is, I mean, you and I need to process this. Because this is above our pay grade. You know what I'm saying? Hash values and all of that. So the jury is now thinking, he's given them time to process the whole point of the fact that everything you testified to yesterday is tainted now, because now you admitted that it doesn't have certainty. And yesterday you made it sound like it's got certainty. So why should we trust, even if you did say anything truthful yesterday, Mr. Whiffin, says the jury, why should we believe that? If you lied about this, what else did you lie about? You see what I mean? How it begins to unravel? Yeah, Ian Whiffin is very unimpressed. Let's keep watching.
Let's go back to the 22740 timestamp and the question of whether that timestamp is associated with a Google search, house long to die in the cold. You understand.
I love how Alessi, as he enunciates it, he says house long. He doesn't say house long like the rest of us. He adds a W. House long to die in the cold. It's like a silent W. House long to die in the cold. It's kind of funny.
There is a dispute as to whether that search was performed at 2:27:40 a.m. as the timestamp states, or whether that was performed later in the morning, say around 6:23 a.m., correct?
Correct.
You understand there's a dispute.
Yes.
And do you understand that the defense asserts that that timestamp means what it says, the Google search occurred at 2:27:40 a.m.?
We're going to allow it.
Yeah, why?
Understand that?
I do.
I didn't hear your answer, sir.
I understand.
You understand that?
Yes.
So today Brennan is trying his best at the, Your Honor, this really hurts my case objections, and so far he's 0 for 2. Alessi is crushing it. Let's keep going.
There are various data forensic tools, are there not, to evaluate what is called an artifact, this timestamp, correct?
Correct.
And those data forensic tools include Cellebrite tools, your company's tools.
Yes.
And some of those Cellebrite tools are called Physical Analyzer.
Correct.
And then you have another tool, I believe, called Insights.
Insights is a suite that includes Physical Analyzer.
Okay.
But yes,
So it's Insights is a
it's
suite.
essentially the same tool.
Essentially the same tool. So does Insight, well, essentially, but they're two different tools, correct?
They're two different versions of the same tool.
Thank you. Two different versions of the same tool.
Yes.
And with that, folks, we are going to continue with Ian Whiffin tomorrow. And tonight, we are going to premiere 4 witnesses in one. Which are they? You're going to find out tonight. Bye, everybody.